negative, that mindset remains unchanged. So they'd rather stay single than get married, just waiting for that rich guy to show up. As they age and youth fades away, do you think the market will cut you some slack? Not at all.
The world is real, people. It's real. Even in China. All women are delusional. They only care about how they feel. They don't give a damn about reality.
However, while unmarried local men in Shanghai are extremely scarce, the city is overflowing with beautiful, mature single women.
There's so many mature, beautiful women in Shanghai. Every year, I travel to about 10 cities, and in each city, I use social apps to connect with locals. In Shanghai, the proportion of mature, single women is the highest.
He added, these women are all in their 30s, with stylish, refined looks and an annual income of over 200,000 yuan. It's common to come across elite men earning over $1 million a year. Letting one of these women go back to her hometown would feel like a princess falling into a chicken coop. He added, most of them are doomed never to go back, and they won't get married either. Women, on the other hand, don't face the pressure of buying houses, cars, or paying dowries. Their biggest expense are cosmetics and handbags. And what weapon do they rely on? Their gradually fading looks. Many older single women spend all their money on beauty treatments and cosmetic surgeries, hoping that one day they'll find a rich husband. When asked to lower their standards, they refuse, because in their eyes, lowering themselves is like doing charity. That's why many matchmakers in parks who set up dates for their daughters have a minimum requirement for a man. He must own a house and earn at least $1 million a year. But their own daughters, they only earn around $5,000 a month. So it's no wonder that in the matchmaking market of first-tier cities, there are so few men, because most men know their worth.
Feminism is everywhere. And if you believe that Asian women are more submissive and more feminine, you better think again. They all think that they deserve the top 1% of men. And just like women in the West, they don't want to lower their standards.
Now let's hear what one man said.
So like I said earlier, or in the first part rather, all these nations have been corrupted, polluted by this Babylonian juice. All right, it's not just here in America. All right, that's why, again, men worldwide are waking up to their value. All right, because all the nations have drunk of the wine of Babylon. I'm gonna grab that real quick in Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken all of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. All right, and I always go back to the example of when Babylon, when Biden, under Biden's administration, when he pulled out of Afghanistan, immediately those Talibanians, they immediately went back to reestablishing order. All right. And what did that include? Women basically dressing modestly. All right. You know, and, you know, just things of that nature, you know, getting the woman back in order altogether. All right. You see, because at one point in time, you know, those so-called Middle Eastern women, you know, they before Babylon came along and, you know, planted that seed of wickedness. You know, again, the women that were walking around, dressing modestly, but once Babylon infiltrated, you know, those you've seen a lot of those Middle Eastern women twerking and things of that nature, you know, just completely adapting this westernized way of doing things. This goes on around the world. All right, this goes on around a lot of these different nations. All right, I'm playing on
the street about his attitude toward older single women.
I absolutely refuse leftover women over 30. This one's already 32. Why on earth would I marry her?
A reporter asks, but aren't you 35? She's 3 years younger than you, and I've seen that her job is very stable. The man replied, I haven't been unfamiliar with leftover women in my life. Let me tell you, leftover women over 30 all share 6 common flaws. The reporter asked him to elaborate. The young man explained,
First, having seen the world when they were young, they develop sky-high standards and feel that no one is good enough for them. Second, even though their looks have already started to decline, they still live in the glory of their youth, casually dismissing any man as ugly or unattractive. Third, their fertility is on the downturn, so having children in the future may be difficult. Fourth, their personalities are generally hard to get along with. If they were more amiable, someone would have already swept them off their feet. Fifth, it's not about love at all. It's all a transaction. They immediately start negotiating conditions with you, asking about your car, house, salary, and even whether your parents have a pension. It's all calculated. Sixth, if they once had a decent boyfriend, they use the standards they set for their ex when choosing the next one, insisting that the new guy must be even better. Have they ever thought that if their ex was so good to them, why didn't they marry him?
The reporter then commented that the young man's views were too absolute, saying, so you think that all unmarried women over 30 have problems, but you're 35 and still single. Doesn't that suggest you might have problems too? The young man answered, if I have problems, I dare to admit them, but would she dare to admit hers?
That guy is on fire. He brilliantly broke down what's wrong with women these days.
And that's the spirit that, again, men are coming to the conclusion. All right. You know, Men are coming to that understanding. That's why I said, Yahweh Shemal Shai, man, he has a certain spirit out there. All right, because he said a lot in a nutshell, and that's why overall it was part of our ancient customs, especially concerning women. They were to be married off, all right, to, in the long run, avoid this confusion, all right, because women, they live in this fantasy world, you know, alongside of holding themselves accountable. Another kryptonite for women is dealing with reality, all right, you know, and again, that's why in part of our ancient customs, a woman, she was to get married off young, right? Because once you get past a certain point, well, for a woman to grow up without a husband or a man or husband, the more she becomes devalued. And that's just the truth of the matter. All right. Versus the more men age, the higher their value goes. All right. But these women are walking around here, again, thinking that they're the prize. Right. It's like this. It's like a 2000 Honda Civic with over 200,000 miles on it. Driving around here as if it's a brand new Honda Civic, a brand new 2025 Honda Civic. That's just not the case, And again, because these women, they're living in this delusional world, and men are coming to the understanding. Men are starting to more and more understand the nature of a woman. All right, and that's what it is, understanding the nature of a woman. That's why it's just getting to a point. Like I said, man, a lot of men just going their own way, becoming eunuchs, just being by themselves. And the scriptures even tell you that, like how even if you have a woman, be as though you don't have one. All right. Because again, as a man, like I said earlier, we have a sense of duty, a sense of servitude, and you'll find out quick, trying to serve a woman, all right, you'll do more harm than good, if there's any good to come from that, So that's why it's just best as a man to focus on Yahweh Shema Shai, because men have their specific roles and women, they have their specific roles. All right, but that's the problem. This whole feminism, women walking around here thinking that they're worth more than their value. They tell you a strong woman is a woman that, she makes 6 figures, right? She don't need no man, and that whole reproach, which again, Lord willing, I'm gonna touch on that reproach. I don't need a man. I'm gonna do battle all by myself, right? But a real strong woman, and a real strong woman at that is a woman that knows her place, and understanding her value, knowing her worth, understanding her worth. That's a real woman. And what is that? Is to be under a man, and not just any man, but a man of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, how to make his life better. Right? I'm going to go to this in Proverbs 31. Proverbs 31. I'm going to start at 11. The heart of her husband doeth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. Because, it's simple enough, it's bad enough as a man. We go into the society, it's hard enough as it is, with everything in the society is against the Israelite man as it is. That's why the scriptures tell, You women are supposed to be a pillar of rest. All right. Because it's bad enough men deal with all type of battles outside of the house, in the world and whatnot, and then come home to deal with even more demons. Right. Matter of fact, real quick. Bear with me. Staying in Proverbs. Proverbs 21:9. It is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. All right. That's why you women have to come extra humble, man. Because, like I mentioned with the Isaiah 4:1, you women are really going to have to come with it when approaching a man to be held by Shema Shai. Because at this point, men in general can pretty much fend for themselves. All right. At this point, a man doesn't really need a woman, and I use my example all the time. I know how to cook. I know how to clean. I know how to sew. I wash my own clothes and so on and so forth. I know how to do for myself. Now having that extra help, is it nice? Yeah, but as a man, you weigh your balances, man. You weigh the balances. Is it worth it? All right, that's why we ought to move with wisdom out here, man. Especially when it comes to dealing with these women. And the scriptures tell us that, when you deal with a woman, deal with her according to wisdom. Roughly paraphrasing. All right. Because again, as a man, it's bad enough dealing with demons in the world just to come home to deal with more demons. When you're supposed to be that pillar of rest. But nevertheless, you woman, you further the affliction of an Israelite man. All right. And you wonder why a man doesn't want to deal with you. You wonder why you're past your prime and you're alone with all the cats. Right. Don't know which way to go. Don't know what to do. And this is why, again, on another note, a woman, she needs a leader. Because like a child left to himself, you women have a very childlike mindset. All right. That's why I want to go back to that Proverbs 31. Because when a man, and get me wrong, or don't get me wrong, men in general, for the most part. And that's why, again, we're just in a beautiful time, a beautiful age where men are starting to understand the nature of a woman. I see a lot of videos where dudes that haven't talked to their father in years, and they walk around with all this disdain for their father, right? Because of the mother, of course, more than likely has driven them away. That's the case 9 times out of 10. The mother did something to drive that man away. But you see a lot of these videos. I see a lot of these videos where men, they will reach out to the father to get better understanding, and they come back to the mom, cursing the mom out, because mom's been walking around telling all these lies about dude, about the father. And come to find out, she's been the demon the whole time. You see, we're just in a beautiful age, all right, where men are waking up, all right. But going back to this Proverbs 31 and 12, she will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. She considereth a field and buyeth it. With the fruits of her hands she planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength and strengtheneth her arms. So basically the point being that, because again, as far as the mindset of a woman, you're like a child, just all over the place. You need something to do. You need order. You need direction. You need someone to direct you. All right. You need direction. And when a decent dude tries to come along and, shows you that direction, all right, or he's controlling, he's manipulative, and so on and so forth. Again, you wonder why no one wants to deal with you. No one wants to take you serious. Because that's another thing that's been going on, people showing up to these couple venues, but ain't no dude showing up. There's been a lot of those going on, right? The women are complaining and crying out, why? Well, the chivalry's dead. Where's the chivalry at? Well, you women want to be independent so bad. Well, there you go. There you have it. Open your own damn door. Open your own damn door, right? You got exactly what you asked for. And now there's a crying for wine in the streets. And now you're starting to feel the squeeze. You're starting to feel the pinch. So all going back to this reproach that you women have put on yourself because you fell for the juice, man. Going back to Genesis, the 3rd chapter. All right. what that serpent presented to Eve. All right. Being as gods, right? Basically a part of those that knowledge, forbidden knowledge, that fruit, which wasn't an apple. Nowhere in the scriptures does it tell you that Eve ate an apple. But a part of that fruit that Eve partook in was feminism. Thinking you don't need a man. Right? And so on and so forth. Let's play some more.
I would actually say that he has been red-pilled. Don't you think? Guys, when you judge women by the same standards that they apply to judge men, they freak out and lose their mind.
Some netizens remarked that men nowadays are becoming increasingly sensible. Many matchmaking events have turned into wish-granting sessions for leftover women. Wealthy men scoff at these events altogether, and for those without money, why subject themselves to such humiliation? For some of the women at these matchmaking events, they claim to be enlightened and independent, yet when it comes to the bride price, not a single penny can be negotiated. A fully paid house and car, along with an exorbitant bride price, have become standard requirements for men in these matchmaking situations. In truth, one might agree to provide a house and car, but would a woman dare reveal her marriage medical checkup results and hotel check-in records? Men are going all out to offer a fully paid house and car simply because they want to marry a pure woman. And isn't that demand reasonable? So, what is the current situation?
Right. Again, like I said earlier, men have developed the mindset, is it worth it? Do the positives outweigh the negatives? And vice versa? Are you worth what I bring? Right? Because again, these women, they've been taught to be lazy, play the field, be harlots and whores. And then you expect, like I said, when you pass your prime and you ran through, you have 200,000 miles, right? And you expect to be treated like a brand new car. It just doesn't work like that. That's why I said earlier, aside from being held accountable, reality is another kryptonite for women. Because you're stuck in this delusional mindset. You're stuck in delusional land. You see? And you expect some men to just pick you up and sweep you off your feet, right? Like a Prince Charming, right? Just the princess, just like the princess, just waiting for a man to come and pick you up, come sweep you off your feet. And the reality of the fact is that's not how it works. All right. And when that time comes, no one's coming to save you. All right. No one's coming to save you. I'm going to grab this real quick. So that's why a lot of you women are going to be left destitute by yourself. All right. You got exactly what you asked for. That's what brothers say all the time. Hey, keep that same attitude. Keep that same energy. And more, it's making sense to me. Apostle Gabar. Bear with me. Apostle Gabar he's been saying how more than likely when Isaiah 4:1 comes around, more than likely it's going to be women from other nations, man, other countries. And it makes sense because the majority of these women here in Babylon, you're just not going to make it. You know, you're just not going to make it. And I can see a lot of women that's going to be coming to brothers somehow, some way, shape, form, or fashion. They're going to be coming from other places, man, outside of America, because these American women are through. You know, American women are trash, man. You know, and I'm not talking about the sincere women that are trying. You know, because listen, we get on you women, but you know, and I you know, because I always try to make it fair. You know, I always try to balance it out. You know, for those that say that we hate women, we're misogynists and things of that nature. No, man. You know, but nevertheless, we're not perfect either. All right, as the men, you know, we're not perfect either. You know, and we don't expect Eve to be perfect. But damn, where's the effort at? Again, you women have been taught to be lazy, and everything is just supposed to come to you and whatnot. But where's the effort? You know, and because at the end of the day, that's all that Yahweh Shema Shai asks from us as the men, as his woman, the Lord's woman, is a sincere effort. And you can never go wrong with sincere effort. You can never go wrong with sincerity. Jeremiah 4:30. And when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? Though thou closest thyself with the crimson, though thou deckest thee with the ornaments of gold, though thou rentest thy face with painting, in vain shalt thou make thyself fair. Thy lovers will despise thee; they will seek thy life. Now, first and foremost, this applies to the men, Israel in general. All right, because Israel played the harlot. All right, we played the whore. We opened our legs to these other nations. All right. Because Jake is still walking around here thinking that things have changed. Thinking that Jake is looking at each other with an evil eye. But Jake don't understand we have real enemies out here. And these other nations, they're our enemies. But Jake is going to find out, man. These nations don't love you, man. These other nations, they do not like you Israelites. So first and foremost, this applies to Israel opening our legs to the other nations, but this can be applied to the women as well, right? Because Eve, she'll get an order quick for her supervisor, for her boss on the job. She'll deck herself out, wear her, a little perfume and whatnot, make herself available, right, for her boss on the job. But when it comes to her husband at home, man, you ain't my boss. Right? You ain't my boss. It's like, where's that attitude? At home. Eve has sold out, Eve has sold out to, she sold her own man out. And that's why you get no love from the so-called black man and Hispanic and Native American Indian man. You get no love from Jake. You wonder why? Because you sold out. All right. You want to deal with these other nations, and now you're finding out they don't fuck with you either. Especially when it comes to the so-called black woman. You're just a cum rag for the so-called white man. All right. That's all you are. You're just a cum rag, a disposable thing when it comes to the so-called white man. Jake tried to love you, man. Like I said, man, we don't hate women over here. We hate the mindset that you're in. But Jake really loved Eve. He made a point in his video about because Jake loves for real, man. Jake loves for real. For Eve, it's just a business. But Jake loves for real. Men and women love differently. All right, men actually love for real. Women love the condition, they love the idea. But men love for real. That's why you see men going out of their wits That's why you see men with the jealousy of the rage being the jealousy of a man. Jake loves for real. You know. So the fact that, hey, you know, when it comes to you Israelite women, you turned your back on your own men. You sold your own men out. You know. And now you found out that, hey, these other nations, they don't fuck with you either. And that's why, hey, fortunately, unfortunately, majority of you gonna just have to die and come back in the kingdom.
Of leftover women in the Shanghai matchmaking market. A marriage broker shared with us her experience. Let me tell you, I was so furious I nearly died of rage. A 35-year-old lady went on a blind date with a local Shanghai man, and after just 2 sentences, the guy walked out. I ended up wasting 2 whole days of work. This woman is 35. We spent 2 entire days preparing her profile, styling her image, and matching both sides' conditions. And then I arranged for them to meet at our agency. I was even there, but I just couldn't stop it from happening. The moment the woman met the man, she said, "Hi, just so you know, I have a bad temper. I'm very straightforward, and I'm not very good at housework. I expect the man to take care of that." The man didn't even give a proper self-introduction. He made up some excuse about having something to take care of and left. I was sitting there completely dumbfounded. Meanwhile, the woman started cursing, saying, "How could there be such petty men in the world?" I was truly at a loss for words.
That woman is a pain in the ass and a nagging.
So you see, men's tolerance is getting low. You know, because men are starting to, again, find out their worth, that they are the value, the true value, high value. Well, Slakia. Men are starting to find out their value. The real, true, high value men are men of Yahweh Shema Shai. And that'll be more clear and evident, you know, when the Lord really starts dropping bodies out here. All right, because it's bad enough for these women. You know, a lot of these dudes, they're moles. A lot of the dudes are locked up. More dudes are gonna be getting sent out to war. All right, dudes are gonna be out here dying. You know, with the civil unrest and the hell and the chaos ensues, right? And that's just gonna leave. And that's why the scripture said, man is gonna be more precious than fine gold. All right. You know, there's already a shortage of men as it is now. Right? But a man being more precious than fine gold. And when you go into that word or go into that phrase, you know, it goes into the prize. Because the men are the prize. Men are the real prize. Are the prize. All right.
She doesn't cook because she expects the men to cook. So what is the guy getting in return? So men are just supposed to spend money on women, but they should never require anything in return. Pretty much like an ATM machine.
The rest of this matchmaking scene turned into a textbook example.
見到第一項呢，你哋相親啊，兩家都數咧之後呢，
Today, a couple came into our agency for a blind date. After they sat down, the man immediately asked a woman, "How much do you earn per month?" She said, "A bit over 8,000 yuan." Then the man said, "Your family must be quite well off, right?" The woman replied, "Just average. My parents are ordinary." The man then asked, "Have you bought a house?" She answered no. After hearing that, the man said, "Then let's not talk any further. I've got something to do." The young woman was a bit baffled and said, "You start by asking about my income. Are you really here for a blind date?" The man responded, "It's not like that. I just think we're not a good match, so let's not waste our time." Then the woman asked, "What exactly is wrong with us?" The man replied, "If you really want to know, I'll tell you. As soon as I walked in, I noticed your bag cost tens of thousands of yuan, yet your salary is only about 8,000. Moreover, you're renting a shared apartment perhaps, where the rent is about 1,000, food costs about 1,500, and utilities plus other expenses add up to roughly 1,000. And on top of that, you still have to buy clothes. Honestly, your clothes aren't cheap either. So can you really manage to save 1,000 yuan a month? I'd say even 1,000 yuan is too much for you to save. Given all that, the only possible explanations for you having a bag worth tens of thousands of yuan are these. Either someone gifted it to you, in which case, why would they give you such an expensive bag? Or you bought it on credit. Am I supposed to help you pay it off? Or third, the bag is fake. If you can't afford the real thing, then there's no need for you to buy one. But insisting on buying a fake just doesn't sit right with me." The young woman, clearly indignant, said, "Can't I just save up for a year or two and buy a bag I really like?" The man replied, "If you're scrimping every month just to buy that bag, then we're even less compatible." And then the young woman almost burst into tears from anger.
Men are in love, women are in business. Everything is transactional with women.
So you see, man, like you just said, men are in love. Men or women, they are in business, you know. And dude called the chick out, you know, hey, we're in a beautiful age, a beautiful time. Men are starting to understand their worth, you know, and you women are going to understand their worth as well. When all hell breaks loose, like the scripture say, he that getteth a wife getteth a possession. All right. You women have been taught to think that you're equal to, and even in most cases, you're superior to men, where you're going to find out you're a possession. And you're going to revert back to your true nature when it's all said and done and all hell breaks loose out here, man. And that's why going back to Isaiah 4:1. All right, because that reproach. Isaiah 4:1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. So what is that reproach? Basically, when you go into it, that shame. All right. That shame of, damn, I've been walking around here all this time, my whole life, thinking that I'm, on this pedestal, right? Walking around here thinking that I'm a brand new Toyota Civic 2025, brand new, clean, right? Never driven. But here it is. I'm a 1999 Honda Civic with over 250 plus miles on it. You women are going to come to that realization. All right. You're not the prize. The men are the prize. All right. Men are the prize. Yahweh Shemel Shai, at the end of the day, he's dealing with the men. All right. And it's about time for you women to get in order. All right. Just like Yahweh Shemel Shai has dealt with us, we're getting in order. All right. It's time for you women to get in order. All right. And that's why when you read on in this chapter, through judgment, all right, through the purging that's getting ready to come, that's when you women are going to find out. All right. That's when you women are going to learn your place. All right. We have plenty of examples of our foremothers, going into this reproach, Matter of fact, let me see if there's, because, at one point, even 60, 70 years ago, a woman not having a baby, all the other women would look at her like something's wrong with her, because that was supposed to be, that's a woman. At one point, woman understood their purpose. All right. Being home, supporting the children, raising up the children, but that's looked down upon in this society. All right. That's looked down upon in this society. We're in an age where women having children, man, it's a hustle. It's nothing but a hustle. You get benefits from the government and so on and so forth. It's nothing but a hustle. But at one point, woman understood, this is my purpose. Like I said, you have examples of our foremothers, man. Give me child before lest I die. This was the attitude of our foremothers. All right. That's why the scriptures talk about, for you women, study your foremothers, man. Go into the characteristics of Sarah, because we quote Romans 15:4 a lot. Things were written for time were written for our learning, but that applies to you too, for you women. Study the characteristics of your foremothers. All right. Sarah is a beautiful example. All right. And many other examples. I'm going to go to the cross references that reproach. Yeah, like I just mentioned, I'm going to go to this in Genesis 30. Genesis 30. Genesis 30, I'm going to start at 16. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him and said, thou must come in unto me. Basically, she's saying, Lord, she basically telling Jacob that, hey, man, let's get it on, let's get it popping, She's asking Jacob to pop her, right? It says, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrakes, and he lay with her that night. And God hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived and bare Jacob the 5th son. And Leah said, God hath given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. And you see, that's another characteristic of our foremothers. As much as you women look down on Isaiah 4:1. All right. It is a righteous thing. It's a beautiful thing. A woman bringing other women to her man. And if you had any sense, you would understand the whole concept of what polygamy is, you know? Because you think about polygamy, you think of some big orgy party. No, man, you know? I always say when polygamy, when it's done right, it's beautiful. Because it's not just about sex, man, and pop a woman all day. You're not supposed to be having threesomes or anything like that. All right. Everything is done in decency and in order. All right. Because again, this is just one of our foremothers. I believe going back to Sarah, she was another one, giving her handmaids to her husband, Abraham. So you have instances like this where, hey, the women they were giving, basically bringing other women to their men, and you call yourself a virtuous woman? Are you bringing your other women to your man, to your husband? And that benefits everyone. That works out for everyone. And like I said, if you women had any sense, you would understand. If that's what the scriptures say, man. When it comes to the logic of you women, all right, the scriptures say you're clamorous and know nothing. All right, because women don't deal with logic; they deal with feelings and emotions. Again, that's why you need to be led. That's why you need to be directed. Because again, if you had any sense, all right, having multiple women around, sister wives, that would benefit you more than it would benefit the man. If you had any sense, you would know that. It says, and Leah said, God have given me my hire because I have given my maiden to my husband, and she called his name Issachar. And Leah conceived again and bare Jacob the sixth son. And Leah said, God hath endued me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulon. I'm going to jump down to verse 23. Verse 22. And God remembered Rachel, and God hearkened to her, and opened her womb. And she conceived and bare a son, and said, God hath taken away my reproach. So you see, all right, going back to that reproach. All right, because you women have this reproach. You don't need a man, right? Playing your role is a reproach. It's become a shame to you. You see, and that's why you're going to be begging a man of Yahweh Shema Shai to take away that reproach. What does the scripture say? Through childbearing, you women are going to get saved. All right, you're going to be begging a man of Yahweh Shema Shai to come in unto you, to take you in, get you pregnant. All right, because you're under this reproach right now. You have this certain shame, this dogma about you, this certain stigma. And that's why a lot of men don't want to deal with you. So back to the cross references dealing with this reproach. They have another one, 1 Samuel 1. First Samuel 1 and 6. And her adversary also provoked her sore, to make her fret, because the Lord hath shut up her womb. And you see, because that was a reproach for a woman not to get pregnant. All right, that was a reproach, man. All right, this is dealing with Hannah. All right, which I believe was the mother of, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was the mother of Samson, if I'm not mistaken. Bear with me. Slakia, Samuel. Hannah being the mother of Samuel. So yeah, that was Samuel, not Samson. But just to end this off, and again, I'll encourage you women to study these accounts, these records. All right. Because the scriptures tell us to come back into the ancient way of thinking. Remember the old paths. And that applies to you women as well. Understanding the mindset of how our foremothers, how they walked. All right, the characteristics and traits of our foremothers. All right, and how they dealt, how they moved. You know, because at one point, you know, our woman had some sense. You know, Luke chapter 1. Luke chapter 1. I'm gonna just get to the point, verse 25. Thus had the Lord dealt with me in the days wherein he looked on me to take away my reproach among men. So going into Elizabeth, all right, which being the mother of John, right? But nevertheless, that reproach, all right, you know, our women at one point understood their role. They understood their purpose. And basically, when they couldn't fulfill that purpose, when they couldn't fulfill those roles, it was a shame unto them. It was a reproach. You know, at one point, a woman got past a certain age, right? And she didn't have no children, no husband. It's like, why are you alive? You know, that's how our foremothers thought. You know, for a woman to, and I'm talking about going back as far as 40, 50, 40, 30 years ago. You know, for a woman to not have for a woman to be a certain age and not have a husband and not have no children, you know, that's a reproach. That was a shame. Even today, a lot of these women, a lot of you women, you because it's one thing to keep a man, it's one thing to get a man, but you know, because you women brag all the time about getting a man, but you can't keep one. You wonder why you can't keep one. And you got the different seeds by different men, right? That's a reproach. That's a shame. And again, you wonder why men don't want to take you serious. Well, that's why you're going to be running to a man of Yahweh Shema Shai to take away that reproach, because you're going to come to your senses. All right. You know, you women are going to get humbled, and you're going to come to that realization, man. You're going to come to that understanding through humility. All right. But I'll post this video up. If you want to check this video out, watch the rest of it. Lord willing, this is edifying. All praises to Yahweh Shema Shai. Shalom to you, hopefully, elect.